Good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday. This is, I'd say, a bit of a bonus, actually. But you know what? This is really, really, really special to me, and I think it's a bit of a giveaway. Oh, I'm wearing the Wimbledon Town tracksuit, so you know I am going to be interviewing a couple of fellas from the A team. But before I begin, let me show you a quick video.
The new Rio Ferdinand. Why are you being on camera shy now? How are you kind of feeling about today's game?
I mean, it's going to be a test. The floor is solid. You can hear it, of course. The sun's at a terrible height. But we got to win this game against Balham. We have to. We're far back in the league. We're like 5 games behind people. So we win them, go top of the league by a fair few points. So let's start at Balham and let's see where we go.
Hey, we have Alec at the top, captain of Wimbledon Town A team, and we have Taylor at the bottom, a new addition to the squad. How are you doing, guys?
We're all good, T. All good. How about yourself?
Yes, I'm well. You know, let me just apologize, Taylor. Taylor, you know, because you're new, I don't have any like footage, and you know, I was kind of looking through like the archives. I'm like, what can I show of Alex that doesn't have him swearing or anything stupid or silly, and like that's the only clip that I could find.
Yeah, this was my first ever camera appearance. Yeah.
Oh gosh, and I just want to thank everyone that's tuning in. Got some comments. Oh gosh, look who we have. We have Mark. How are you doing? Mark? And we also have James Osborne. Evening. Please put in your questions to these guys. So Alec and Taylor play for the A team. And you know what? Rather than me talking about the A team and literally talking about these two players, let's kind of go straight into Alec, the captain. Can you literally take us straight to the start in terms of like when you kind of started with Town and your journey so far?
Yeah, sure. So started with Town. It's probably coming into my 5th season now, maybe my 6th. And I came to Town on a bit of advice from a friend, saying that, I mean, I couldn't really find a club to bed down in. I was jumping from Sunday league team to Sunday league team. And they were like, look, they need a centre back. They play 3 at the back, which at the time, I mean, it was all arranged with the Chelsea teams. And I thought I fit the system perfectly. So they said, come and play for the B team. So fine. I mean, if they've got an A and a B team, they're obviously doing all right. And yeah, I just went to meet, I think it was Boona, who was manager at the time. So it shows how long ago that was. And yeah, he put me in. He said, look, it's just a pre-season. Let's just see what you're about. We play a particular kind of way. Just try and fit in, try and learn everyone's name in the first kind of hour when you arrive and see how it goes. So safe to say, I've stuck with it ever since. I mean, that game was quite funny. At halftime, Boona told me to go over to the A team game because they were playing next to each other, and he said, "Don't worry about us, go with them," which was quite nice. I'm not gonna lie. And ever since then, I haven't looked back. I mean, Town haven't looked at replacing me too often. I'm doing all right, and then ever since 2015, year on year, I've been a part of it. I've been buying into the club continuously since then. And I feel like I'm part of the furniture now, and I realize that I've probably been around longer than most. So yeah,
cool. And
that's it.
And when was you made captain of the A team?
Would have been I wouldn't even say at the start of the season. It wasn't a decision that was made even in pre-season. Obviously, COVID chucks all types of spanners in the works. So like last year finished on the points per game basis. Couldn't really train in the summer because the restrictions were still there. So we kind of had to hit the ground running when the season eventually started. And I'd say probably about 3 or 4 games into the season, Rob, the gaffer, Dawn, who's the chair lady. They came to me, had a conversation, and said, "What do you mean? Do you fancy it? We think you're a good enough fit, or we think that you could potentially be a good fit." Obviously, I've never been captain for any team I played for, even in younger years and college and uni and stuff like that. So I agreed to do it, and I hope, fingers crossed, I'm doing a decent enough job. So far, obviously, the season's come to an abrupt stop. So,
cool. No, cool, nice. And Taylor, the new addition. So could you kind of tell us, like a bit about your kind of footballing background and how you became a Wimbledon Town player?
Yeah, I've always sort of had football in the family. Growing up, always been around football, and it was something that I took on by myself and my brother. We started playing at a young age. I think it was 3 or 4. It's just I started off with a few mates in a local team. Started to enjoy it a lot more than we thought we would. Started to be watched by a few clubs. I've done a bit of jumping into different clubs, but apart from that, I just stuck with it. I fell out of love with it probably when I was 11. Stopped playing for a year or so. Jumped back in, played in golf 2 seasons, which I haven't told anyone at town yet. We need a goalkeeper. I keep that on quiet.
Your secret's out now. Your secret's out.
Yeah, I know. I've heard Tyrone's a good keeper. He'll go in the 6 every now and then.
Great as well.
No.
But yeah, no. How would I come about playing for town? I think I was out one day. I can't remember when it was. I mean, like a Wednesday afternoon. Just finished work. I met my brother. Went to a couple of games of pool, I think it was. And John was like, "We've got a pre-season on Sunday, and we're a few short. Do you want to play?" And I was like, I've been out about 6 months, had an injury. I was like, yeah, but it's no time like the present to get back into it. So I thought I'd go up and help out. As it was, I was expecting to start on the bench, which obviously happened. I think who was it who got injured? Was it Harry? Early on.
It might have
10 minutes in, and Rob was like, "What are you going on?" I was like, not what I was expecting, but yeah, I jumped, got on. It was all right. I know we won, and after the game, it was just a case of asking when me and Luke come up together, who's from where I am, and asked us to sign. I said, "I'd love to sign, but the only thing is I can't guarantee, training every week. Me and Luke have to travel for over an hour. I think it's an hour and 20 minutes to get there," which they all said that's fine with. Obviously, make it when you can. And yeah, sort of went from there. Really had a few more pre-season games, and we got into the league pretty sharpish.
Cool. And you actually mentioned something right at the start where you stopped playing for a year when you was about 10 or 11. Can I ask the reason why?
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows it. I was a striker at the time. Every kid wants to score goals when they first start playing football, and I was being watched by a few clubs. I was doing a soccer school down in where I am, and one of the coaches was a Brighton scout, and was like, "Well, I just come along." And being at that age, I didn't really want the pressure. I didn't like the pressure of it. So instead of going, "Yeah, okay," biting the bullet, I sort of put my guard up and said, "No, I'm going to stop playing." Which looking back now, do I regret? Probably yes, but I can't change what it is now.
Okay. No, because I know that's a kind of a big topic right now in terms of I like kids at 10, 11, 12 being pressured into the academy levels rather than just enjoying the game as it is. So no, it's that's a kind of interesting journey. So Taylor, thank you for sharing. Thank you for all of the comments. Spencer, a supporter of the show. Yo, is this how the other half live? Yes, it is, Spencer. Yes, it is. And also Jamel as well. Captain can sign me up. So yeah, hey, again, thank you for all of the comments. Alec, I will literally start with you. So again, exactly what you said before. You've been with Town for a long time, and Town got promoted to the Prem. so compared to the championship, like, what's the difference? And like, has it been easy to adapt to like, like the kind of opposition players in the Prem?
Yeah, sure. I mean, off the bat, yeah, 100%. We've been lucky in the last few years that, well, not lucky, but you know what I mean. We've climbed the table. So when I started, we were in Division 2, climbed up to Division 1, Championship. Now we're in the Prem. So we've always had this kind of forward momentum, upward trajectory. So we always knew there would come a time that we would get good enough to be in the Prem, based on our cup performances in the seasons where we are in lower leagues, but we're playing better teams, bigger teams, and often winning. So adapting to the Prem, man, it's you realise the jump between the Championship and the Prem is quite large, actually. The teams there they're more consistent, so obviously they're forcing you to be more consistent as an individual, because obviously you have to win your one-on-one battles as well. But obviously as a team in general, and the way they're kind of set up as well is it just forces you to have a better game, in my opinion. And the teams in the Prem are established. Do you know what I mean? So you've got teams that have never fallen out of it. They're there year in, year out. Yeah, some years they might finish 4th or 5th from the bottom. Some years they might finish 2nd or 3rd from the top, depending on obviously the teams that come in and come out. So they're well established, kind of forces you to understand and put pressure on yourself as a team, to become more consistent. Because if there's a few weeks where you're off your best, sooner or later you're going to find yourself at the bottom of that league, because it's very strong. There's a lot of point sharing going on, and if I'm not mistaken, I think there's something like 4 points separating the top 6 teams, and I think it's only a 12-team league. So I mean that says it all, really. You can't really afford to slip up too many times.
Yeah. Cool. And Taylor, I know this is your first season, so like you've probably played just over a dozen games, possibly.
Yeah, just about 11 or 12 games now.
11 or 12 games.
11 league games. So yeah.
Okay. And however, like you found playing. I mean, is it kind of something that? Well, I'm actually guessing. Well, yeah. How are you kind of used to playing at that level of like football, and literally how is it? Because like you like play as a fullback, don't you? Yeah. So like how is it for like you literally kind of supporting either your kind of left winger, your like right winger, how and also the level of opponents.
I mean, it's very different to down here where I play. I think they're a lot more intelligent. They're more switched on. Normally, like down here, you can leave your man, give him 5 yards. Up there, you've got to be switched on at all times. But yeah, I think the first game now, Westminster Wanderers.
First game of the Prem, yeah.
Yeah, was Westminster, and obviously, like I said, I knew nothing about them. Sort of sat back, sort of first 20 25 minutes. Again, not much game time after coming back from the injury, but I'm guessing adapting to it, you learn a lot more. You learn how to defend in a 1-on-1 situation up there compared to down here. I feel up there, it's a hard one because they're, like I said, they're more switched on. I find them a lot quicker, a lot stronger, and the footballing brain is 10 times better. But apart from that, I think I've played quite a high standard a lot of my life. I played in the Kent League, which is the league before you go and you get signed by a pro club. You have a lot of clubs watching you, but I thought that was difficult there. But yeah, up here it's definitely a different ball game.
Okay. And Alec, is it you like play as a centre back? So again, like what's the kind of difference difference of like movement compared to the strikers in the Championship? And before you answer that, Spencer's literally come in and said a bit of respect to the Championship League. And you know what? Hey, like I would say from Division one onwards, like the kind of competition is really, really tight, and the Championship have some really, really good teams. So, you know what, Spencer, we do love the like Championship, but right now we're talking about Wimbledon Town.
I was going to say to Spencer's comment as well. I've seen the Championship teams, and that's a hard league to get out of. So
It is.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough. So there you go. We have the Championship to thank for being in the Prem. So it's one of those. It's a good building block. If you're good enough for the Championship, trust me, you're pretty much good enough for the Prem. You just got to be more consistent. That's all it is. Sorry, to your point. My level of defending and how it has to change. I mean, I think because we're in London, because we're in the south of London as well, you have people from all walks of life. So you got like professionals that have come in. You're playing against a lot of foreign players as well sometimes. From obviously a Brits perspective, they're foreign players. So people have had different kind of schools of football. People have learned different styles and how to play. So, I mean, the level of striker we come up against in the Prem is, it's varied actually. You'd be surprised. So, I mean, I don't know everyone's name. Obviously, you don't really get to know them, but you got some strikers who, for example, are just super direct, really strong, and just give you a hell of a day. Like they just come in at you. They're intense. They don't let you sleep on the ball. If as a defender, you have no time on it whatsoever. And then when they have the ball and you're defending them, it's a battle, right? It's a one-on-one. And then there's some strikers who are really clever. They'll peel off you. They'll drop into that number 10 role. That Harry Kane's been doing all year, and he gets plaudits for it. You've got people who can, on a Sunday League pitch against Sunday League players, do that kind of stuff. So then you're thinking, do I go with them? If I go with them, what gaps are being left behind? And it's how you adapt to those types of situations. So, we come up against a good level of centre forward. And to be fair, we do a decent job, whether it's just individual or especially as a defensive unit. We do a good job at keeping them as under wraps as you can.
Yeah, no, perfect. So back to Taylor. Can you kind of give people out there 3 tips as a new player joining a new team?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first one I'll give, and it's probably the strongest one, is just to be confident. Don't feel under pressure. You join a new club, settle in and be yourself. There's nothing worse than joining a new club and having to be different and try and fit in. You are who you are. Join and be the club accepts who you are. Number 2, just make sure you enjoy your football. Make sure you're at a club where you want to play football, you want to enjoy it. Like I said, I wouldn't travel 70 odd miles every Friday or Saturday to play for Town if I didn't enjoy it and didn't enjoy the players I'm playing with. And thirdly, I think just play where you want to play, and play with a smile on your face at all times. Don't beat yourself up. I mean, I am probably, as Alec probably backed me up here, I'm probably the world's worst for beating myself up on the pitch and expecting high standards. I mean, I know Rob a couple of times has told me not to ruin my game by getting too frustrated on the pitch, but it's taking its toll now. I think I'm starting to enjoy it a lot more. I'm starting just to relax and play football the right way.
Cool. And same question to you, Alec.
Yeah, I was going to say if you were going to move on quickly, I was going to try and pull you up there. First thing, he's got to start beating himself up. And I play right centre back. The man plays right back. Or can I hear him talking to himself if things are going? Don't beat yourself up too bad. Good job. But in terms of a new joiner, obviously, most people have been there. I would agree with Tay in the respect of that, know the club you're signing for. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, you're not going to know it straight away for the first training session. But buy into it, because at the end of the day, this is where you're going to spend a good chunk of your at least your Sunday. The teams that don't train, at least your Sunday. It's a big chunk of time. So you have to be dedicated as well. Especially the kind of again, no disrespect to the really lower leagues, but the higher up you go, you have less chance of being kind of a bit laissez-faire about it. You have to be dedicated. You have to be wanting to play every week, because if you're not, you just get shipped out. Someone else comes in who's ready to take your spot. So for sure, know what you're buying into. Be honest. So when you turn up, if you're a player that thinks, you know what, I'm actually just a leader. I like to lead by example. I like to not bark orders, but I like to be positive and kind of firm. Be that guy. Just because you're brand new doesn't mean you have to keep a lid on it. No chance. If what you bring to the team or what you believe you bring to the team is of benefit, and then let everyone know, man. Make it known. And above all else, just be a personable guy. Do you know what I mean? Don't just be someone that can be approached. Be someone that approaches others, and that ties in with the honesty. Just enjoy your time, because this is where you're going to be spending a big chunk of your Sunday, at least.
Yeah, no, facts.
Yeah,
So true. So true. So again, Alec, I will literally, keep it on you. The A team strengths and areas that you think the team or the squad needs improving.
Sure. So, I mean, in terms of football, like the football we play, I think the main strength in our game is that we're direct, we are intense. Our strikers and our wingers, so we tend to play free, try not to give everything away, but we tend to it's not for the pitch, right? So it's kind of when they go, you better be following kind of thing. Because if you don't, if they turn around, and you've seen it even in Premier League games, if your striker turns around after chasing that ball down and you're nowhere to be seen to help, you're gonna get a lot of left stares and a lot of kind of choice words. So we're direct, and when the time is right, for sure, we press high, we hassle, we harass, and we're as intense as you can be as a Sunday League team who do take their football seriously, or as seriously as you can. You know what I mean? And then in terms of the team itself, not just the way we play football, but the way we kind of present ourselves, or we act around each other. I love the team spirit. It's a massive thing. I mean, you've been around the club. Tay's been in the club for like 11 games, but he already knows that the team spirit is high. The determination and the effort from everyone who plays, whether that's you're starting every week and you're playing 92, you're in and out of the squad because of your availability, or you only get 10 minutes or 20 minutes to affect a game at the end. Everyone's giving effort. Safe to say that you won't be at our club very long if you're not willing to put in the effort. Do you know what I mean? It's because you just can't be letting your team down. Your striker can't be running and you can't be just watching him do it. You know what I mean? It can happen a couple of times in a game where you've just lost focus quickly. But there's a difference between losing focus sometimes and flat out no effort, if you know what I mean. And it's, I think that's a main strength of ours. Before every game, we huddle up, have a quick chat, and just before we kick off, and as kind of primary school as it sounds, we say on Freetown, on to Freetown, right? And it's a raw. It's that split second where everyone just gets pumped up a little bit more. I'm ready for that game after the chat, after the instructions have been laid out. A massive strength of our club is how it's run from top down. Claire, Ian, Dawny B. She treats everyone like they're her son. Or if you're a woman in part of town, then like her daughter. So that's a massive strength, and the effort that we give and the determination that we try to provide stems from that. So it reflects on how we're treated from the people who run the club and who love the club. I mean, there's no better way to kind of pay your respect than by doing that, doing what they deserve from you. In terms of areas to improve, we have to be more consistent. I think this year the consistency levels have been inconsistently consistent, or consistently inconsistent, however you want to put it. We need to be harder to beat sometimes. Sometimes we can be a little bit soft. I mean, not because we're not trying, not because the effort's not there. It's just sometimes teams just find a way to play through us a little bit too easily. We hold our own. We don't concede many goals. We don't lose by a lot. If we ever lose, it's one or two tops. I would just say that's probably the main thing we have to improve. In terms of how the clubs run and all the kind of the off-field stuff, you don't need to improve that.
Yeah.
It's just the way it runs is fantastic. So
Yeah. I mean,
on pitch problems are the other places we have to improve. And when I say problems, I'm using a very loose term. It isn't.
Yeah. I mean, I've said it on many occasions. Like, Wimbledon Town is literally run like a semi-pro club, and I don't think people actually kind of believe me in terms of what kind of happens behind the scenes. We literally have like the privilege to actually see exactly what Don, Claire, Ian we actually do behind the scenes, and it's just unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. And it's kind of funny how you kind of touched upon the kind of willingness for the strikers to actually literally track down and literally go after loose balls, and that's Ren, that's John Joe. They are very selfless people. They are very selfless players, and they set the tone. And again, there's a kind of connection and a bond where, again, you don't see that in like Sunday League football. And again, I'd say like a lot of the goals or the kind of chances that Wimbledon create are literally from pure hustle, and it's kind of pure grit. And you can also touch upon how we're not like a soft touch again. And I probably want to put Ryan Reese Moore into that conversation. I've got to put Rob into that conversation as well. Like these guys will literally run through a brick wall. So there's a kind of good mixture. And of course, like yourself, who kind of likes to play football, and you can kind of dictate it from the back. Taylor, apologies, I haven't seen you play, but I know that you're a very robust defender, because I think the first time I saw you play was against Lambeth Lions, I believe.
Yeah, that was the first pre-season game.
Yes, yeah. So again, you are very solid, robust, and your way around the pitch. And I mean, again, this is like just my kind of own personal opinion, because again, I don't want to put like something on Taylor in terms of like areas to improve and strengths, because you've only been here for less than a season. So I think for me, in terms of what I've seen, which is a change, because Alec, I think you actually played when we played Politics. Was it last season or like season before?
Yeah.
And I think something that's now been eradicated is the kind of feeling of we will just turn up and just beat a team. Because against Politics, they were, I believe, bottom at the time, or they were like struggling for like points, and like we were fighting to actually win or literally get promoted. And I think we kind of walked onto that pitch thinking that we were going to win, and that was probably one of like like the biggest shocks throughout the whole season. Politics beating us at home, and I can now see like the kind of mind shift and the kind of focus and the character of like each and every player. That's like we kind of go onto this pitch now as equals. So it doesn't matter where like you are, like we will literally give you that utmost respect. And I know that you will battle, but we will like battle 10 times harder. I mean, I don't know if that's correct. I mean, I don't know if it's something that you can, if I was right.
Yeah, no, 100%. That Politics game, we got our just rewards because we were complacent. We turned up. We turned up at Abbey Rep as well. We turned up at the home ground. We hadn't been beaten on it in God knows how long. Politics, I think, how Sunday League works out. You don't play someone for like 6 months and then you play them back to back in 2 weeks or something like that. It was a game like that. We just played them. We just beaten them 6-0 or something along those lines. So as a team, don't know what's gone on. We've walked on the pitch. We're very complacent. And yeah, they stuck it to us. They beat us 1-0, but we didn't have a sniff in the game. Literally none. They played well. They solidified. They took away all our threats. And then they beat us. I'm not going to say they sucker punched us, because that wouldn't be fair to them. They literally just beat us comfortably on the day because we turned up with that attitude. And to put your finger on it, who knows why? other than just complacency. But yeah, it's weird how things like that work out. And having Taylor helps. Do you know what I mean? Taylor's actually, I know he's an absolute tank, but he's one of the youngest in our team. But his mentality is like it's ultimate. It's up there. It's win at all costs. It's fight for my team. It's lead by example, and it's just stuff you don't tend to get in a standard Sunday league player. And we tend to have, luckily, Town in our recruitment have a fair few of those players who have the same mentality. So this is why we get on. This is why we're successful, and this is why we'll continue to be successful.
Cool. No, nice. And I think when you're talking about player recruitment, it kind of nicely leads me on into Spencer's question. How much crossover in terms of player selection is there between the A and the B team? Alec, I mean,
yeah. Sure. So I know that everyone that is registered for Town at the start of the year is registered across both teams. So it's not you're only registered for the A's and you're only registered for the B's. You are registered as a Wimbledon Town player. In terms of player selection, I think what tends to happen is I say we, like I pick the team. The gaffers will have their kind of a rough idea of who they're going to have in their squad. Obviously, the A's will tend to have the better players because that's just kind of that's how it works. Probably not the best way to say that. But I mean, yeah, throughout the season, needs and wants, you could have 18 players that aren't getting as much game time as they would like or deserve, in all honesty. I mean, if the team's doing really well.
Like me. Like me. Alec, don't pull that face.
I mean, you got to blame Spencer for this because he opened a can of worms on it. If people aren't getting enough game time, then I'm not going to say drop down to the B's, but then there's a conversation obviously for the gaffers to have, and then if they end up playing for the B team, because the B team might have a need for a left winger, or they might have a need for a centre forward, or they might have a need for a centre back that the A team can give up and help. It's all about helping. Safe to say, this season so far, I don't think there's been a lot of crossover.
I think it's probably only Sonny. I think it was only Sonny that came from the B's.
But even then, it's a decision made at pre-season, isn't it? It's a decision to bring him into the A's for him to be predominantly an A-team player. As the season goes on, I think it always helps to have as settled a team as possible, because obviously you can work on things if the same group of people, the same core of people are there. But for sure, the way Town's run, if the A team are in need of something, and the B team are able to help, they will do, and vice versa. If the A team can help the B team in any way possible, we do. Obviously, it has to be for the benefit of both of those sides. I'm not saying that we don't work together. Obviously, we do, but it's one of those things. Yeah. So this year, not much, but as and when we can, I think.
Yeah, and again, let me just kind of say, like, the B team have some quality players. Like, it's I would say like the B team could be a lot of first team players within the Southern Sunday easily. And
yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, and again, like, the kind of recruitment has been amazing actually. And again, like the kind of cohesion, because we all trained together. Well, we kind of trained on the same place together, but we trained separately, but we always come together afterwards. And and the kind of connection and the like, it's all good. There's like no animosity. There's kind of everything is done in the kind of spirit of football, isn't it?
Yeah, it's actually fantastic. It's there's no kind of us and them. There's no, there's friendly competition.
Yes,
but there's no complete fractures between A team and the B team. And like you said, we'll be on those kind of 4G pitches that we get separate sides of, and then if the training sessions come to an end and we can join together and play, a friendly match or a friendly kickabout for the last 20 minutes, then we do. But yeah, as soon as that whistle is blown at the end of the training session, people are jumping in cars with 18. They're mates, right? And this is the thing. And I'll drive someone down the road if they need it. They would do the same for me. Yeah, I've got loads of friends in the B team.
Yeah.
Loads of B team are our original Wimbledon Town players when there wasn't a B team. So they've been around, even longer than I have. So yeah, it's a cohesive. Yeah, I like that word. It's just everyone's just there to do the best they can, enjoy their football, and enjoy other people's company.
Cool. Thank you for all of the comments. Chris Wilkes has come in. Quality stuff, lads. Wilksy. Spencer said, cheers, Alex. Very, very well put. And
terrible.
And Chris's a little wave. So a question to Taylor. And again, you may not know the teams, but I'm gonna just stick it on you. The toughest game this season that you've played, and I'd say the standout performance as well.
As an individual performance or a team performance?
Let's say team.
Team performance, I'd probably say it's difficult. I would say probably Park Life, I'd say. I think we went 1-0 down very early on. It was in sort of first 5 to 10 minutes. Pitch wasn't great, very, very boggy. And they were very direct. They had a big lad up top who was big, physical. I mean, their wingers weren't bad. Again, quick and physical, but they had a game plan. Their game plan was to get the ball forward early on. We managed to, I think, make it 1-0 or 2-1 before half time to us. But again, it wasn't game over. It was, they kept coming back, and I think the last sort of 15 minutes was very we were penned in, and they were giving it their all. It could have gone either way. We could have scored one more. I think we did in the end, didn't we?
Yeah, 1-3-1.
1-3. Yeah, I think we scored finally in the end. But again, like I said, it could have gone either way. It was a good save made by the keeper, some very good defending, but an all-round team performance. Midfield was strong, worked very, very hard. Again, strikers ran their socks off really, which we get with Ren, John Joe, and I think we had Callum, who's a new signing. But yeah, I think that was probably our toughest game. Our toughest game is one I'd say was our most frustrating game, and it was probably against Balham. No disrespect to Balham. They had a game plan which was to stop us scoring. I think everyone knows about John Joe and Ren's goals. I think it's ridiculous amount of goals they score per season together. But yeah, it was we couldn't hit the net. I think we went 1-0 up. I think it was Ryan Rees-Mogg of all people to score. And yeah, they got a late equaliser from the corner. But apart from that, they were resolute. They sat back, they just defended, let us play in our half, and we couldn't penetrate enough to secure the winner. But I think down to that game there was a lot of changing. Again, new players in the team. I think it was our second or third game in. Didn't really know anyone. Didn't know how we were playing. But that would be probably, I don't know if Alec would agree, but that would be my the toughest game or the most frustrating game I've played.
Okay, cool. And to you, Alec?
Do you know what? I had it noted down as one of the tougher games. But it doesn't come surprising to me because us and ASC Balham have been in this. It's weird. We seem to just climb the leagues together. We have a good season, they have a good season, and vice versa. So this year we're both in the Prem. Last year we're both in the Championship. And if I'm not mistaken, the year before we were both in the First Division. So we've played them a fair few times, and they've always been tricky games. There's been the odd game where we've won by a fair distance, but that could be down to anything. But when you face them, you're in for a tough game. My selection in terms of the toughest game this season. Other than the ones that you lose, obviously they had to be tough for you to lose them. I remember playing Clapham Rovers, and I think it was the last game before December lockdown. And again, it's the same issue. It's just the frustration that builds. It's not every game is tough, right? Every game you're playing against a good player on a one-on-one situation, and the team that you're playing against are a good team, right? But it's the way the game is shaped, the way the game goes. I feel like we were just getting really frustrated against Clapham, couldn't break them down. They were providing threats every now and then. So obviously you've got to stay on your game. So the frustration is that you think you're in control of it and you're doing your best to kind of ensure that there's no damage done on our end, obviously, as a defender. But the frustration growing that we either couldn't penetrate properly, or we weren't breaking lines, or we just couldn't find each other at the right moment with the right pass. So for me, yeah, Clapham Rovers 1-1 league game. Tough game that was. And they're a good team as well. We played them before.
Cool. Thank you for everyone.
I would like to say, no disrespect, but again, apart from that game being like the toughest game, every game in this division is hard. I don't think there's one team that you look at and think, yes, it's an easy game.
Yeah.
I think every team on their day can have a good game, but it seems to be every week we play a team that has a good game, or is willing to compete with us and put us for our paces.
Yeah, cool. Thank you for all of the comments. Look, Luke, he loves this. He loves this. That's great. Jacko up the cards, giving everyone a thumbs up, and I think Luke's gone back and talking about a free kick screamer.
Oof, Tay, come on.
Talk us through this. Come on.
Luke, you've put me in the shit here, mate.
You're supposed to say which one, Tay.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that, mate. I didn't be that guy to be like, which one?
He's definitely talking about Park Life.
Oh, Park Life.
Yeah.
That's got a very weird story to that one. It was in the warm up. I think I was practicing as I do for every game. I was hitting a few free kicks, and they weren't really going right how I wanted them to be. And I think it was Ren was like, put the ball between these two leaves, and as it was, I put the ball between two leaves and struck it, and it sailed into the net quite nicely. So we won a foul, and I just hear Ren scream across the pitch saying 2 leaves. So I went and picked up 2 leaves, put them either side of the ball, and I don't know how far out it was, but I just remember Sonny. Hey, sorry.
30-35, definitely.
I remember Sonny just saying to me, "Make you proud," and I was like, "Oh." I've got Ren shouting about the leaves. I've got Sonny telling me to be proud, and so I put the ball down, set out, and I guess we could call it luck. I mean, a bit of fluke, but hit the back of the net and put us 1-1. I think got us back in the game.
Yeah,
cool, nice. And it's a shame that it's not on camera. And this fits nicely into like the next topic, really, social media and Sunday League football. And I'll literally kind of keep it open. I'll kind of let whoever wants to kind of chime in. I mean, what is like your opinion with social media and the mentions of social media in Sunday League football?
I think personally, social media on Sunday League football is massive now. I think it's only going to get better. I mean, I know I can speak on behalf of a lot of people. I know you get the likes of SC Dons and Portland and all the other big clubs that have their games recorded, and it does give you an insight to sort of how good the leagues are up there. And you get games where they win 6-0 and the other team don't have a look in, but you get the big games where it's a cup final and it's all broadcasted, and that they're making money for not a professional club. Obviously, it's not professional, but they're making money for themselves to help grow and expand grassroots football. I think social media is probably one of the best things for it out there.
Cool. And Alec?
Yeah, it's just going to get bigger and bigger, right? I like the fact it's building an awareness. So it's like anyone who doesn't take part in Sunday League football, anyone who doesn't take part in any amateur football, amateur sports in general, they've obviously got this myth about a Sunday League team are a bunch of pub lads who go drinking on a Saturday, turn up on Sunday, and then go drinking on the Sunday after. And don't get me wrong, at town we go drinking on the Sunday after, of course. Like hopefully because we're celebrating. And I'm glad you can only see kind of chest up because you would see the beer belly. But I mean the social media side of it is debunking the myth that it's just no one cares about it. It's just a mess around. It's really not. Do you know what I mean? It's shows like this. All of the social media content, like Taylor said, from from SC Dons and Lambeth and Portland. We take it seriously. We take it as seriously as we can. Do you know what I mean? We just have pride in playing football. It's an enjoyable thing. Why would you not want to broadcast it to others and make people more aware of why they like it? Do you know what I mean? It's all well and good recording the games and stuff like that and analysing the games, and that's great. But it's the little interviews, it's the little snippets, it's the little clips of when people get frustrated or when people don't know how to talk to a camera. And those, you know what I mean? It gives a massive insight into grassroots football. It really does. It gives it to the insight into the people in the background who are the unsung heroes. I mean, grassroots football is by all means a voluntary thing. Do you know what I mean? No one's paying Dawn to run town for us. No one's paying Graham to run the league. I mean, just to name a few people that obviously we know well.
Yeah.
And it builds the profile of clubs, can attract more players. I mean, you've got players out there that, yeah, they're not going to be semi-pro or pro, but they're just very, very good players who don't know who to play for, just haven't found the right club. If you've got a social media platform and any kind of footprint, you're going to be attracting these people. Of course you are. They're going to say, "Oh, I fancy a bit of that," and then then it's up to them and the club, and all of a sudden you could find the place that you're going to play for until your legs pack in. Do you know what I mean? So I like it. I'm all for watching stuff on social media. Your podcasts are brilliant. Your documentary with Reece Jackson is amazing.
Thank you.
Out there, people wouldn't know about things that go on in grassroots football unless people documented it. And social media is the best way. And because none of us can meet in person, how else are you going to get that message across? Social, it's just going to get bigger and bigger, and it's a good thing. It's a positive thing, I think.
Yeah, facts. And talking about social media, please go follow Wimbledon Town on Instagram, on Twitter, Wimbledon Town FC, all one word. And Taylor, hopes for the season when we eventually start again.
Yeah, I was going to say, if and when we start, that's the main hope is just to start playing football again. But I don't know what's happening with anything there, but it would be nice for my first season to win some sort of silverware. I'm not too sure how the league's looking. I know it's very close. There's a few games or teams with games in hand, but definitely a cup. I think, I've heard we've been very close, in the last few seasons, getting to finals and semi-finals and not being able to play a final due to COVID or due to other circumstances. But I think definitely the first season here with Town, and it being such a great club, just seal sort of what's been a very poor year due to obviously with COVID, is just to win some silverware. It kind of is paying back to the likes of Dawn, Ian and Claire that do so much for the club. So there's others that are in the background. I mean, again, I can only thank Dawn. I know it's kind of subject, but what she does really, she puts me up every weekend, and she's there always to listen to, and to vent to after a game. And when I want to talk about Alec behind his back, Dawn's always there to listen.
I'm usually in earshot.
Oh, I thought you. I looked down, I think you're gone now. I'm a few beers in, and now I've run away with me.
I'm coming back. Yeah.
But no, definitely some silverware, and just to keep the team together for next season. I mean, and finally see where we can go. You have the big names like the Portlands and the SC Dons. I think for Town, one of the biggest things would be to compete with them. Put them through their pace. I think they're a big club, and people look at them and think we don't want to play you because it's going to be 5-6, 7-0, and you've got some very good players that are playing at semi-pro level. But for someone like Town, to build with the recruits we have and push forward, I think that's definitely something we should look forward to. The future is bright. We've got some young players that have come into the squad this year. Ethan, Jordan, Callum. We've got some old ones there like Alec, who's will be there for a few more years, I hope. But yeah, definitely some silverware, and just to stay together as one for next year. I mean, like I said, it's a great club and it's run very well.
Cool. And over to you, Alec.
Yeah, the hope is that it resumes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I can't keep losing time.
Mm.
He said I've only got a few years left probably before my last year. No, it's to the main hope is for me is to continue how we've been working the last few years. So that will be doing well in cups, getting far, pushing teams that we should be pushing, and to establish ourselves as a Prem team. Like I said at the top of the show, there's teams in there that have been in the Prem ever since the Southern Sunday League started, pretty much. And if we can come in this year, disrupt that kind of status quo, and settle ourselves as a Prem team, we can only build from there. You know what I mean? We can keep the team together. We can recruit better. Sooner or later, we'll be up near the top and hopefully consistently near the top for many, many seasons to come.
Yeah, cool. Nicely said. Nicely said. And Luke has come in. These podcasts. Oh, thank you, Luke. These podcasts from Tabisa have shown how big it can be with his platform alone. So yeah, I'm like very, very lucky. I mean, I'm a little bit older than you guys, so my legs have already gone. So this is like my I'd say my kind of second wind, really. So this is still allowing me to actually be involved with Sunday League and grassroots football. So anything that I can do to help, and hopefully everyone knows I'm kind of there to support and to kind of give my kind of knowledge, not my playing ability, just my knowledge. And yeah, I literally just kind of love what I do. So Luke, thank you so much. And guys, Alec, Taylor, thank you again for being part of the show. And I wish Wimbledon Town A all of the success. Alec as captain, absolutely amazing player. So welcoming when I joined the A's. So thank you so much. And Taylor, I think I've got to come to one of the A games, and every time there's a kind of free kick 40 yards out, I'm literally expecting something top bins.
Oh, it's even more. There's no way I'm scoring another free kick now, is there?
The pressure is on. Thank you for everyone that's chimed in with comments and questions. Thank you so much. This has been the Amateur Football YouTube channel. My name has been Tabriz. Alec at the top, Taylor at the bottom. I salute you. Wishing everyone a wonderful week, and I'll see you guys real soon.
Cheers, T.